Oh, hey folks, Dude here, coming to you today of all things, coming to you, August 31st. That would be, let's see, it's going to be Wednesday, August 31st. Now, of all the things I was jumping around on my podcast yesterday, I was going on about, like, my deep and abiding affection that I have for the Swiss Army knives and, all those wonderful things it has on board, this slip joints and lock blades and all these other great things. But what they're truly known for is, well, besides the, obvious corkscrew on board, they're also known for the fact that they have a world-class, guaranteed to open just about everything, cork screw on the other side of a can opener. These things pretty much, well, I've had opportunities, okay? Years and years ago, I worked food service, and I'm going to be working in a restaurant. Now, you guys have seen them in the stores, what they're referred to as the number 10 can. That's that can that's about that big around and about that high. Holds some ungodly amount of stuff, and usually it's like the big honking can you see for not a whole heck of a lot of money. If you're doing like something for like some charity work or something, you usually have like scads of those things, and you're cracking them open, dumping them out, and green beans, corn, whatever, what have you, chili. I mean, I've seen all kinds of things in a number 10 can. Well, the opportunity that presented itself was in the restaurant, the big honking can opener. You've seen those things if you've ever gone in the back of a restaurant. You have like the stainless steel table. Now, the corner of a stainless steel table is like a square of stainless steel. In that is like this big thing that slides up and down. On that is a crank handle, and on the inside of that is a triangular shaped blade that pierces the can, and then you push the handle down, you flip it over, it grabs a hold of the can, and it opens literally like a big honking can opener in your house, like the smaller version, but it's just much scaled up to handle the number 10 cans. Now, that one broke. I forget if it was the handle that broke or the blade that broke, but whatever it was down for the count. And they're like, oh crap, we gotta crack like 10 of these cans. We need them for tonight. We're hosed. How the hell are we gonna open these things? And I just went doot 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 doot, and I'm gonna be carrying the Champion, I believe. This is the Swiss Champ, which has the pliers on board and a couple other goodies. But I was carrying the Champion on board, so basically it is a couple things less than this knife, which is like the 10-ounce pocket killer, and it literally has the universal, whatever you wish to call it, variety of can opener that all Swiss Army knives have on their person. And I was like, here, watch this. I'll open them. So I put the first can down there and went dunk and went brrr, cracked it open, slid that over, brrr, I walked through all 10 cans, probably in the course of about maybe 5 minutes. And the owner of the restaurant looked at me and goes, holy crap, I never thought a pocket knife would open all those cans. I was like, dude, it's a Swiss Army. There's a reason why I carry a Swiss Army product at all times. It's because they work. Now, conversely, back in our service branches for World War II, they actually used and utilized and had at their disposal something called a P38. And literally what it is a much smaller scale of your classic style of can opener. Has a little slot there that the rim goes into. You guys can kind of see that. A little hole right there clicks onto the rim. You then take this and you just walk it around the can, and it'll open the can. So you have like those John Wayne style of sea rations and whatnot. That's what these predominantly came with. This is known as the P38. And this one is actually very correctly set up because it has the hole on the top. So you can put it on your dog tag chain and it'll hang down. It won't be poking holes in you. Next iteration would be the P38, which is what this one is. Probably about 30% bigger, a little bit better leverage. And by and large, you can see that, essentially what it is, it's the same idea, just upsized slightly. So you guys can see that essentially what it is, it's just a skosh bigger. That's really the only difference. Unfortunately, though, on this one, they didn't think things through, and they put the hole to hang it on the top. So then you have the opener now sticking out and piercing body parts and making themselves not quite happy. Hang on a second. Let me kill my right light on my camera setup. Otherwise, it's going to keep flashing on and off and going bright and dim. But anyway, you now have this hanging out and you're going to poke holes into you. So essentially what you had, of course, you had the P38. Then you had the P51. Now, conversely, Australia had their own version, something they called a F.R.E.D, or a Field Ration Eating Device, which, if you know people in the service, we tend to give military acronyms cute new names. So the Field Ration Eating Device became known as the effing retarded eating device. Yeah. Conversely, you can also use these guys, if you're good at it, you can also open bottles, because it has that little itty bitty hook on the bottom. Hopefully you guys are kind of seeing. I don't want to jack up my focus too much, but you can hook bottles open and use these to pop open bottles. So they're pretty universal in that regard. Now, the F.R.E.D was also known as the field ration eating device, was used by the Anzac, or the Australian National New Zealand, or it was the Australian New Zealand Army Corps, Anzac. And literally what it was is they used the F.R.E.D, which is what this guy is. So you have a lot of commonality of thinking here. You have the can opener on board, but they decided to do a slight modification. They've also got a dedicated can opener and bottle opener combo, so you can actually crack open your bottles. Conversely, they also thought it through, and they put a spoon. So you also have a spoon on board this device with which to eat with. So this was actually kind of cool. The druthers is trying to get these things up into the United States is not easy. Of course, Australia being Australia, otherwise, other side of the planet, they are not going to be cheap to ship to and from. These items actually are fairly cheap on eBay. It's the shipping that kills you. I've yet to find these things for cheaper than $5 per, and usually what it is, you wish to get the group sales. There's actually one guy who's always advertising them on eBay. He'll sell groups of 5, 10, whatever, but his price is not great. I tried to make a group buy from him, and he's like, oh yeah, I got scads of these things. I got boxes of 500 of them. I will sell you a box of 500 F.R.E.Ds, no problem. I was like, okay, great. Since I'm buying in quantity, are you going to reduce the price and make it worth my while? He said, okay, sure. I'll shove a little bit more your way. The price of purchase was not that much better than his group purchase price that he normally does on eBay anyway. And the shipping would have been killer. So what I did was I then dedicated myself to simply say, I am going to simply just utilize these things in another way, shape, and form by buying a few, having them on display, but I'm not buying scads of them. All right, folks, I'm going to break up with this one. I want to call my friend back, just called me. But I'm going to break up with this one. Eat good, keep the tendering. As always, you know you love it. Can opening goodness from here, there, and everywhere. You have P38, P51, and F.R.E.D. Good stuff. Talk to you guys later. Have a good one. Eat good, keep the tendering. As always, you know you love it. And opening a can and having a spoon on board is never a bad thing. See you guys.